Welcome back to Mountain Connections. Right now, we are going to be speaking with recruiter Guy Bill Humbert via Skype. He joins us every month and gives us excellent tips on how to be an excellent employee, how to employ others, business issues, and more. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Christine.
So, I'm curious to know, first off, how are you doing? You are working from home, just like many people here in the United States. I think I heard 80% of people are working from home. So, how are you doing?
Oh, Christine, this is my normal. I've been working from home since 1990. So actually, March of 1990, so full 30 years now.
So 30 years working from home. You are, I'm going to say, an expert from working from home. And you have some great tips for managers on how they can lead their employees and lead a team virtually.
I do. Many of these from home professional managers find themselves thrust into the exact same situation that the people that report to them are in, and that is working from home for the first time. And it can be a uncomfortable feeling if you're not used to it. For me, it's my norm. But if you're not used to it, then you're not you're not able to physically watch people work or be able to understand that they are actually doing something instead of playing games, which some are, and maybe cleaning house. Others might be homeschooling their kids. Some might be doing that too. So there's it's kind of hard for these new work from home managers. So we want to talk about today are some tips for them to help them manage their staff that is also working from home.
Out during this time, managers, employees are under a lot of stress. There's a lot of expectations, like you mentioned. They're home with their kids, trying to watch them, trying to parent them, trying to teach them, as well as handling all of the other issues and things that are coming up. So, what are some things that as a manager you can do to help motivate and understand these issues of your employees?
One of the things that I would suggest is, first of all, understand you are the one leading your team. So let them know what your hours are, and you make sure you work your hours. And then let the staff know, you know, when are you supposed to be working? Well, a lot of times it's going to be at the same time that they are going to be working. So they want the staff to be working in their hours, unless it's a situation where maybe it's client services where they have different shifts. But let them know when to be available for calls from you.
You mentioned that you feel that's essential for managers to express their expectations as well as communication preferences and when they primarily want to be communicated with.
Yeah, let them know what you expect from them in terms of their work on a weekly or maybe even daily basis. And that gives them a sense of getting back to the norm. And sometimes you may need to coach your staff when um, when they are working on something and maybe they don't understand exactly what it is you want them to accomplish. And then, offer them assistance if you need to. That's a definition of mentoring.
Another thing that you wanted to bring up is that it can be very hard, most of us know, to express tone and really kind of that hidden meaning in what we're saying. And we have to be careful with how we draft our emails and our texts to make sure that we get that across. But how can we do that? That can be really difficult.
Well, you're right. Emojis really don't do the trick. And the electronic communications, the text, the emails strip out the intended emotion and tone to a message. And then the person who is receiving that message, what they're trying to do is they're trying to figure out what type of tone and emotion. And sometimes it doesn't come across well. And if you've been out there on email, and I have since 1992, you'll occasionally see these emails wars start up, and you wonder why. But it's just that the person receiving the message didn't receive it in the right tone and emotion. So it's important to have phone conversations because there you can include that tone and that emotion, and more importantly, video conferences with your team. and get dressed up. Like I got dressed up this morning for you guys. So get dressed up for the your workers, and that kind of gives them a sense that what, maybe we should be doing that too.
I sometimes use an exclamation point to make it sound like I'm being cool and casual, but that's not always a good idea either. You don't want to always use a lot of exclamation points, but that's a very good point. It's important to dress up to make sure that your employer and employees know that you're serious, that you're working, that you're taking things seriously with your position and making sure to do everything you can from home. But something else that many people are doing is video conferencing. You have some tips for that and some warnings.
Yeah. So, first of all, it's best to be dressed for work. And, when I do my coaching that I've done for 25 years of people who have been laid off or otherwise left their jobs, I tell them, get up in the morning, get dressed for work, because that just tells your brain that, hey, it's now time to get to work. And then what you do is, you make sure that you show up on time because you don't want everybody waiting for you. And then finally, if you do a hashtag poor Jennifer, do not take your laptop when you're on a video conference into the bathroom. Just saying.
Good to know. Good to know. And you also recommend ways to motivate and really help build your team virtually. What are some things we can do to do that?
What we're trying to do is we're trying to give them as much norm as possible. And one of the things that you might want to consider doing, and you could either do it every afternoon or possibly make it Tuesday and Thursday afternoon, water cooler half hour. And so you call a video conference, and everybody sits on the video conference around the water cooler and talk about family, pets, weather, anything except work. And usually the manager's going to need to get it started, maybe introduce a puppy video or a cat video that gets everybody laughing. And then, just after about 2 or 3 of these, then it becomes a norm. And then people will say, yeah, let's do this. I'm going to have something for the next meeting. So it just kind of it builds that relationship.
Adding some levity and some understanding and really making sure that your employees know you're here for them, that it is a hard time and you understand that. Bill, where can we get more information about you and what you're doing right now and find more of these tips?
Well, recruiterguy.com is brand new, and I'm really excited about it. Jambo John did an excellent job working with me to create the website. And on my website are blogs. The current 2 newest are work from home manager tips, and then also work from home professional tips. So we'll keep looking. Every Tuesday I will bring up a new blog, and we'll be having fun with this. And feel free to reach out to me at recruiterguy@msn.com or bill@recruiterguy.com.
Will do. Well, thanks so much, Bill Humbert, Recruiter Guy, for joining us today. These are really some excellent tips for managers and employees while working at home. So make sure to find Recruiter Guy online. We have more coming up. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.